Hope you're all good and hope you enjoyed a fantastic spectacle of the opening DSTV Premier League start. Yeah, disappointing on our side because definitely not the result we came here for. Definitely not the result we wanted, but it's a tough one. But at the end of the day, we were up against the champion, so people might excuse us for being a little bit nervous in the first half that of the game and conceding in the manner that we did a soft penalty, um, 3 minutes to halftime, which is a tough pill to swallow after you hadn't had the best start to the game and you kept the champions at bay for that long. And then once you would find your feet, I think second half we really started to be ourselves. We pressed them high, and then the high pressure game came back into plan. And we started creating a lot of chances. We started creating opportunities, but unfortunately, the knives wasn't as sharp as we would want it to be. So you might forgive the guys for that, because preseason it's all about fitness, and then you don't really work on that much finishing and that. So the latter stages as the season progress, these are the kind of games when you get the opportunities that we've created, that we've got, then you expect the boys to be putting them away instead of wasting them. So yeah. So I can forgive the team for not being as sharp as they would be usually. But I think in general, I can't have that much of a complaint about the attitude, the mentality, the mindset, and the desire for my team. They've really gone out there and they performed to the best that we can. We didn't start as sharp as we wanted to. Um, it was good, but not as good because we too many turnovers in the first half. A little bit of press, and in midfield losing the balls very easily and giving the balls away, and then allowing the opposition team then to play to their strength with the mistakes that you make on the pitch. But in second half it was much better. So yeah. But when you 1-0 down against a team like Sundowns, then it always automatically becomes an uphill struggle, because now you're pressing and you're chasing and you're pushing people forward, and you try and get that equalizer, which automatically then makes yourself a little bit vulnerable at the back, and you leave open spaces and you leave gaps for them to get into. And when you leave the kind of players that they have, they do punish you for real. So I think we had to take a little bit of a cautious approach, but overall, I think a draw would have probably been fair. Would have been fair. I think both coaches, both teams would have been happy with a draw, because I think that's the way the game panned out. Sundowns first half were probably slightly the upper end and the better team than us, but second half, yeah, we were by far really making a contest of it, and we should have probably gotten ourselves back in the game, or even got ourselves even a penalty if the referee was a little bit brave enough to, like he was with the first half penalty that he gave Sundowns, and then the one that we didn't get, because I think the ball does hit Sereno in there, and then the laws is the law. I don't want to just claim, but if it's like that in the box, if your hands is not on your side, then yeah, when you do that or you block your face, it's a penalty, and the ball hit his hand clearly. So that is one for to be debate, to be discussed, or for Monday night, whatever you call it, the show on Super Sports, where they discuss incidents in the game and that. So yeah, so that is for them. But unfortunately for us, yeah, we go back to Durban with our heads held high, but yeah, with 0 points in our pocket. So that's my observation for the game today.
Thanks, Shupi. Good evening to the colleagues and good evening to you, Coach. Hard luck on the results, but thank you so much for a good spectacle. Coach, just between in these two matches that you've played already, having started with the team fully, are you sort of from the two matches gauging what the season is going to look like for you, or how you're going to approach it? I mean, with the cup competitions domestically that is still coming up, you've also got the marathon that is the league, and of course going to Africa as well. Is this two matches so far giving you knowledge as to how you're going to then approach the season? And what would you pick out already would be the strengths to make sure that you succeed in what's still coming up this season in those three spectacles?
No, obviously those two games, the opening two games, has given us good perspective of the difficulties we're going to be up against, because everyone sees how competitive and how tough the league is within itself, and now then to contain that ability to play at 100% level when you play teams like Sundowns. Our next game is Morocco Swallows, and the game after that it's Super Sports. So the challenge for us is it's not an easy start for us. It's all top 8 teams that we face in our first 4 games of the league, and then we go and have to contest in the CAF. So yeah, it's a learning experience, but I think we've got a decent, big enough squad. We still have players out, having to come back from from having positive tests, due to COVID. So we still have a couple of players that has to come back from that, and then we had 3 injuries also just prior to the Sundowns game. Mulenga, Memela, and Tabu Kalinga, all 3 of them have been missing. If you've watched the game, you would have seen that they weren't on the bench or on the team, so they've also missing. So yeah, so we've got a pretty decent depth in our squad. So we'll be trying to manage the players correctly. I think the recovery process is super important, and obviously, and like I said, I have very, very, very good relationship with some coaches who manage teams, who played in the Champions League, just even getting some perspective on recovery process, and how do things work for them, and how do they manage the squad, and so we'll have conversations. And like I said, I have a very good relationship with Coach Steve Kompela, and he's only a phone call away for me to ask. Doesn't hurt asking someone that's been in that situation, that's been there, that's done that. So we share information, because at the end of the day, when we go on the continent, we're not just playing for AmaZulu, we're representing South Africa. South African team is playing on the continent, so we have to support each other, and they know better than us that feeling, and the process of handling that kind of experiences, going to CAF and juggling the league at the same time and in the cup. So if there's some knowledge we can gain from that, then why not?
Good evening to my colleagues. Boa noite, patrão. Fala português. Coach, can you just thank you. Coach, can you first and foremost maybe comment on the pitch, because I understand your club is the one that really likes playing it low. And secondly, Coach, Buchanan, what do you make of Buchanan's match? I mean, obviously he's got very good touches, but overall, what do you think of him? Thank you.
Muito obrigado para a proposta. And I'm just saying, listen, yes, I think the pitch looked fantastic. It looked fantastic, wonderful to play on, and I think we could have made a better game of it. It's just unfortunate because it is a rugby ground. It is a rugby ground, and some rugby teams love having the ground underneath a little bit softer, because that's well known in sport. Football pitches are much more firmer than rugby pitches. So underneath the pitch was about soft, and that's why you saw so many players all over the show slipping and sliding, in key moments. So, but when the teams were able to move the ball to play, the pitch was fantastic. The the speed of the ball was moving really quick because of the pitch on top was a bit wet, so you could enjoy that. But yeah, and that's when our players have to be a little bit more intelligent. When you watch European football, English football, Belgian football, Spanish, German football, when it rains, players play with six studs. That's just the norm. That's just the basic of football. And both teams players had the same problem, slipping on the pitch in very key moments that could have costed maybe us and them at the same time, So hopefully players can learn from that. I know South Africa, the weather always allows us to play with the preferred boots, the multi-studs, but when you play on pitches like this, when the rugby pitches, then you need to play with the right equipment because, so that was it. But the pitch, I think the pitch was very decent. I enjoyed it. It made for a really good game of football. And yeah, Keegan Buchanan, like I said, is new in the team. He's already adapted to the way we play and the style, so he fits right in there perfectly. So like I said, it will take a couple of games. He's going to have some of those games like the ups and downs because like I said, it's just having to adapt to a new team and that. And also he hasn't played since December, since he left Maritzburg because of contractual issues. So he's came in here and he's worked his socks off during the preseason and he's looking good. But once he gets himself to being fully fit and 100%, then we're going to be able to enjoy a fantastic player. And that's why we brought him here, because we just think that he's a good fit for us, the way we play and the players that we have around, so we can complement each other. And last season, Makhaula played almost every single game because we didn't have another similar type of player like him. Now we do have, so you can have the two together, or now you can rotate the squad a little bit better. And with the amount of games that's coming our way in the CAF Champions League, we're gonna need that, But yeah, Keegan has been a fantastic signing, and I'm ecstatic to have him part of my squad and in my team.
Thank you, Shupi from Limpopo. Hope you're well, Coach. Rob in Cape Town.
Robster, you good, man?
All good, all good. Coachy,
Yes.
A little word about Mr. Maduna. And also, just with 2 weeks left in the window, are there any holes you want to fill still?
Listen, I think good question. And yeah, I think Maduna, unfortunately, the whole of preseason, he was almost non-existent because of an injury that he picked up right in the first week of preseason, if I'm not mistaken. So we missed him for about 3 weeks of the start of the preseason, and then he started gradually running. So he's still getting himself back into fitness, because just overcoming that same injury that he suffered the first time around, where he had a little operation on his foot. So that same injury hindered him during the preseason. So yes, we were able to get him back now. He didn't play against Cape Town City because we still needed just for him, just that little push. And I think with Mulenga out, Memela out, Kalinge out. So so it was a little bit also, we were forced to make changes and then put out the squad. But I think after today, he's really demonstrated the kind of player that he can be. He's a master at disguising the ball, and he's such a fantastic and an interesting and exciting young player, and definitely we want to benefit that. But the challenge that we're facing is to keep him fit, to keep him 100% fit and 100% ready for games. And if we can do that, and then obviously to put him in the position where he's the most comfortable at, where we can benefit and the team can benefit from that. And that's what we're looking to do. But I think today he was excellent, Rob. He was excellent. And yes, no, of course, not long to go for the window closing, and already we can see where we are a little bit short in the team, where we are a bit debil. But listen, the squad that we have is fantastic. with the players that still have to come back from whatever they're suffering. So there's still about 7, 8 players that has to come back, and 8 players that can easily play in the starting lineup that played today. So I think we do have a decent depth, but yes, I think when you look first 2 games, 2 losses. So you would maybe think up front, I think every coach would say, if I can get a goal scoring striker, then yeah, you would like to add that to the team. But overall, I'm very happy with the bunch of players that we have at our disposal. And if something falls on our lap, and it's an interesting one, and it's something that we can do that business, then we will probably do it. But if not, then I'm very happy to go on with the squad that we have.
Coach Benni Nati from NEGFM in Polokwane, and like the results, if you can allow me to ask me 2 questions. One, what kind of a DSTV Premiership are you expecting, considering the fact that you will be juggling it, with CAF Champions League participation? And secondly, do you think there's added pressure for you, considering the fact that President Zungu did declare that this season he expects at least 1 trophy?
I'm expecting a very tough season, like any other. When I joined AmaZulu last season, when I got signed, I was expecting already a very tough and a fire season, because yes, you knew, and the club is in trouble, and you gotta pull them out there. So the league is super competitive, very tough, and a lot of teams has done some excellent business, and they've strengthened their team. So yes, of course, and the fact that we had the amazing run that we did have, so we finished second in the league. So now also a lot of teams will be out to prove a point against us, to try and unsettle us and go for it. But you saw today against the really heavy hitters, we held our own, and we can survive, we can cope, and we can run most teams down when we on our day, when we want to, like we did today. So I'm not too concerned. I'm not too concerned about worrying us and what other teams do. We always worry about ourselves. We make sure that we in a fantastic way, and that we just make sure we do our business, and then everything else is a bonus. And then your second question about there, of course, I think every chairman of every club can tell you, they all have their own aspirations. They all have their own ambition. They have their targets, what they want to reach. But is it relevant? Is it, that's a desire, that's a wish, and you can't stop anyone from having a wish or having a desire. That's his desire. But the reality is, every team is very difficult. So yeah, we just have to take it game by game, and we just focus on what we do from Monday to Monday. We can come when we have a game, then we tackle that game. If we collect points, if we need to work a little bit harder, and come into the end of the season, then we as a technical team, we as a team, we as players, we come together, and then we discuss, what targets, what goals did we set for ourselves, and hopefully that matches what the owners desires, and that's how it works. And if it doesn't match what their desire is, and so be it, then you have to look at difficulties your team had compared to any other team, and that's how it works. So the president has his wishes, he has got his desires, but that's just his wishes, and sometimes you can fulfill them, and sometimes you can't, but it's an early start, only the first game in the season. So yeah, we work towards that every day, and that we don't like to put unnecessary pressure on ourselves for what, because of people's desires and people's wishes. So that's how it is. Football is football, my friend. Because if I had a magic wand, I said, boom, I win the league. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. You got a Monday to Friday, and then come weekend, you play Sundowns. Then you have to be on your A game. Next week, you play Swallows, you play Super Sports, and you still got to turn up. So, you can't just wave a magic wand. And that's how it is. So we'll see end of the season, we'll have a talk, and then we'll see if we match the desires of the owners.